Hey y'all, let me know if you can hear me now. Sorry about that. Something must have occurred where my sound went out for some reason. I'm not sure why, but I am back. So hopefully you join me back. Hello, Kindred Sacred Roots. Can y'all hear me? It sounds like something must have happened with the reliable technology. Okay, good. You can hear me. Yay! Yay! Oh, wait, No, that's not what I'm doing. Yay! Sprinkles! Thanks for coming and joining with me. I'm sorry that my sound went out. I'm not sure quite why. Hello. Hi. Hi, Stephanie. I like Kindred Sacred Roots doing its thing. But I'm going to give it a couple seconds and then I'm going to hop back into what I was saying when I was talking about the whole friendship aspect. So we first talked, let me do a recap. So we first talked about sacred rest and the importance of sacred rest and how when we're not honoring ourselves in that space that our body can either sit us down or lay us out. We also talked about how sometimes because we are so busy about being busy and hustling and moving too much that we lose ourselves and we lose track of what needs to really be important. We can lose all our bearing. And so the recap was talking about sacred rest and important sacred rest. Thanks for joining and coming back. Sorry about my technology. I'm not sure why. This is actually really distracting. Let me turn this off because I am a big nerd. And so the sparkers were like distracting me. Thank you for coming back. Sorry about the technological challenges. It sounds like at one point my sound went out. But just to do a quick recap, we were talking about sacred rest, the importance of what that means and what that looks like, how we honor ourselves, how we're not constantly ripping and running, trying to be busy, stay busy to avoid sitting with ourselves and kind of doing shadow work and the necessary self-audits to identify where we can improve and where we can change and where we can grow. And then we talked about how sometimes people stay busy because they equate their productivity to their worth. And so people are feeling the need to constantly go, whether it's in a work platform or whether it's with our relationships and friendships. So the importance of sacred rest to honor ourselves, but also to avoid being sat down or laid out like what I had happen to me. So sacred rest, super important, absolutely and unequivocally necessary in our lives. Secondly, the friendship aspect. So I was telling you, I was talking to my friend and I was really struggling and grieving the fact that there are people in my life who are no longer in close proximity. There's clearly distance felt, at least on my behalf. I'm like, I feel the distance now in trying to manage and navigate that space and what that looks like for me. So I was talking to my good girlfriend and I said, it like stings. It hurts when you want to talk to somebody about a particular topic that you're used to sharing with them or we're used to like kikiing about and you don't have that access to that person anymore. So like I was talking about in my March class about loss, living outside of living outside sorrow and sadness, living and loving outside of sadness and sorrow. When the access is cut off on somebody, whether it's death or intentional decision, that loss is still felt, right? And so you can still go through a whole grieving process and the person could be like across the street from you. But if you don't have access to that person, if there's no more of that intimacy or that connectivity, it still feels the same almost as if they're not here present with you. And so I was talking to my good girlfriend. I was like, this kind of sucks. Like I'm really struggling at times with the fact that there's people who I love dearly who I'm no longer in connection with. And I had to do self-audit and I had to kind of hold myself accountable and go, well, in actuality, were some of these people connections or were they attachments? When you do the self-audit, were you giving and pouring constantly into them and they were constantly just receiving what you were giving? So was it parasitic or was there a symbiotic process going on? Was it a reciprocity where it was people pouring into one another? And so as I did the self-audit, I realized also in addition to me giving and pouring out a lot, I am at the place in my life where I am in like acceptance of self. And then sometimes, we have our moments where we're like, am I really even beyond that, that acceptance of self gets you to a point where you know you're not willing to beg someone to be in your life. And I say that with like full authority, full chest, full spirit. You get to a point where you're like, if you want to leave me, then there you go. Hello. Yeah, parasitic. And you get to a point where you're like, if you choose to leave, okay. If you choose to cleave and you're a connection and you're healthy and we're pouring into one another, we're replenishing one another, we're giving to one another, then thank you and I got you. I am no longer in the space mentally, spiritually, emotionally to be like, I'm begging you to be tribe. And you have to get to a point where you're valuing yourself and saying, you know, I know what I give. I know what I possess. I know what I share. I know how I love. I know how I care. And because I value and honor myself, because I honor who I am and what I give, my gifts, I refuse to beg someone to be in my life. So if you choose by intention to leave, then here are my condolences. And there goes your flowers. What color do you like? And sometimes you got to tell yourself that. Yes, definitely. Codependency, attachments will have you holding on to people who have let you go. And I talked about in my April class about emotional martyrdom versus spiritual doula, how in the past, I used to be like allowing people to cut me. I'd be bleeding out trying to find the gauze. Oh God, let me stuff up this wound. Let me stuff up that wound. All the while trying to still hold on to the people who were harming me because I caught myself trying to help them. And so when we get into this space where we're, like you said, assessing, auditing what's going on with us, what we're allowing ourselves to receive, what we're allowing ourselves to put up with, we get to that point where we're just like, yeah, no. And I told people, no is a full sentence. And in the past, I used to have a really, really hard time with saying no. Like, I want to just do and I want to give out of my capacity when I didn't have the capacity, when I didn't have the emotional space. I just got to do this. I just got to help this person. You don't. And it's hard sometimes because you want to be that support, right? You want to love, you want to give, you want to help. But sometimes it's outside of your capacity. Sometimes it's just literally and utterly outside of your capacity. And you have to be within self enough to acknowledge that and say it's okay. And it's a no for me. I used to never want to transition out from people's lives, outside of people's scopes or people's spaces, because I was like, oh, well, whenever they might need me, I want to make sure I'm available. I'm not Aetna, I'm not Cigna, I'm not Blue Cross Blue Shield, I'm not insurance. I can give you assurance, but I'm not insurance. And so we have to make sure that we're honoring who we are, but also not exaggerating the roles we have in people's lives. And I tell people to check their hands. I see no nails. So I'm not pretending to be Messiah. I'm not pretending to die for you. I'm actually unwilling to die for you. The only person I might die for would be probably the child I pushed out of my vessel. And so you have to make sure that you're honoring that space, and you have to make sure that you're being honest with self and letting go when needing to be let go. As a social worker and an empath, I have been a perpetrator of I am not going to let people go. I just wait for them to let me go. And why would someone who's benefiting from you and taking your energy, sometimes I call it spiritual vampirism, like when someone's literally pulling your energy from you, pulling your strength from you, why would someone want to let that go? Why? And so we have to take that into account when we are measuring how we are going to support other people and measuring how we're going to interface and interact with people in our lives who we are in relationship with. And when I say relationship, that can be partners, that can be intimate relationship, that can be filial relationship, like that can be friendship, family wise. Like we have to make sure that we're measuring properly who we are and what we're accepting and then what we're giving out. And so I don't any longer beg people to stay in my life. I just don't. And even for the people who I thought I would have friendships with for like a lifetime, I truly do believe in season and out of season. And sometimes some seasons are shorter than others. I also don't believe that quantity is better than quality. I've had people in my life who've been in my life maybe for 2.5, 3 years who have demonstrated a depth of care and love for me that people I've known for 20 plus years haven't. And so you just have to really know who you are and continue to do that work of discovering who you are. And then as time progresses, we evolve. So the person you were 3 months ago, the person you were 3 years ago might not be the person that's sitting in front of this camera today and sitting in front of this phone today. You could change from 3 days ago. And so understanding the evolution of self and being okay with that and going, hey, the principles I had back then are not the principles I have now. And the expectations I had back then are not the expectations I have now. And what I was willing to manage, even outside of my capacity back then, I'm no longer doing now. And so knowing who you are, accepting who you are, allowing yourself to be adaptable and growing, but honoring yourself. And I think that's the correlating factor, the denominator in this Ivy Illuminations tonight, is honoring yourself. When you honor yourself, your hind parts is going to take sacred rest, because you know when you're not rested, you evil, you mean and nasty sometimes. When you're not rested, sometimes you make poor decisions. When you're not rested, your body will then start deciding for you. When you're honoring yourself, you're not begging people to be in your tribe. You're not begging people to be in your life. You're not, how do I say it? You're not diluting your potency when you're honoring yourself. Which means I am authentically living who I am because I love me, I accept me. And for those who are not okay with that, that is fine. Please leave. Please leave. When you're honoring yourself, no is a full sentence. No explanation needed. One of the most beautiful things my father taught me as he reared me and raised me was no is a full sentence. And as an adult, you have free autonomy to change your mind at any given point in time with no explanation necessary. Now, I'm not saying go outside, be nasty. I'm not saying go outside and be like, I'm cutting 1, 2, 3 people off. It's spring cleaning. Everybody gone. I'm not saying that. But I'm saying when you honor yourself, you're going to take sacred rest. When you honor yourself, you're not going to beg people to be in your tribe or in your life, because those who are meant for you will be there for you. So I love you all. I hope you got some type of nuggets of wisdom that you can help apply to your life from today. I apologize again for the technological challenge where I guess the volume went out. But keep in mind, I must honor myself. I will honor myself. I can honor myself. I can, I will, I must. ... Honor myself. Sacred rest. Create the tribe that's meant for you. Never beg anyone to be in your life. I love you guys. Thank you for joining me. I appreciate you so much. Have a wonderful Thursday evening. Bye. I don't know how to give hearts back, but hearts back. Yeah. Bye, loves.